Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well today. So if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie Jade. I post videos over here at least 3 times a week. I've got a vlogging channel and I upload daily on TikTok too. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out the Bear With Me Blurring NYX foundation. I'm going to be doing a first impressions, I'm going to put it on my face and doing an honest review. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, leave me a lovely little comment and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. Without further ado, let's get started. So this foundation is still relatively new and I wanted to give it a go. It comes in 24 different shades on the NYX website. However, there weren't that many at Superdrug and I did struggle to find my shade. In the end, I went for 08 Golden Light, which is a little bit deeper than I'd normally go for. But it does nearly match to my IRL by Revolution, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. So this is a blurring tint foundation. When we look on the website and actually look at the shades, it does have a decent shade range. Is there room for improvement? Yes, definitely. So as I said, there are 24 different shades. I will just show you them now. These are the different shades on the website, which is not easy to see on my phone, but this is what they look like. So I think they do go rather light to rather deep. So they do have a good range because that's the deepest shade they do, which I think is quite good because it is quite inclusive. However, the shades in between, I feel like there's big jumps between the different shades. So I feel like they could have a few more shades added in there, maybe like up to 30, something like that. But it is good to start with. It is a good one compared to some other brands that will do like 5. It is good. But like I said, I did struggle to find my shade. I felt like the one lighter than this was just too light. The one darker than this was too dark. And this one had a bit of a yellowy undertone. But I'm going to go for it anyway and try it. So this is obviously cruelty free. All of NYX products are cruelty free. And on the website, this says that it's a blurring skin tint foundation with medium coverage and a matte finish. So that does sound quite good for me. It said somewhere that it was buildable, which is what I really need because I prefer a more full coverage foundation rather than a lighter foundation. So I want to give it a go and see what it's like. This is $9.99, which I think is a decent price for foundation. You don't seem to get loads in here. However, we'll see how far it goes anyway. So it does say that you get 30 ml of product, which sounds a lot more than I thought it was going to be because it doesn't look like you're going to get a lot in here. But I'm just going to open this up for the first time. I do love the packaging. I love the fact that it's nice and slim. It's not like it's made out of a glass bottle, so it's going to be really heavy to carry around with you if you're going anywhere. So when we open it up, it's got this little like squeezer. So it's just to spin some onto my hand. Do you know what? The shade doesn't look too bad at all. It doesn't look as dark as I thought it was gonna. I have started to tan, but I need to do another layer. Like you can't really see it as well. My feet are bright orange. Gonna be honest about that, my feet are bright orange right now. But like my arms and my hands are a little bit darker than my face. So I need to just keep it up. But we're just gonna go with it for now. If we need to, we'll lighten it up with concealer. I'd say we can darken it up with bronzer, but I don't think we're going to need to do that. So I've primed my face and we're ready to go. I use the IRL Pore Blurring Primer. Thought it'd be quite a good match for the foundation. It's one of my favourite primers. And we're just going to get started. Do you know what? Comparing that to my IRL one, that does look quite good. It feels quite thick, like it feels like it could be really good coverage. But we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to get a little bit more out. And you'll just drop that on the floor. Get a little bit more out to do my forehead area. So I'm just going to get a little bit at a time and apply it with my finger. I'm going to blend 1/2 in with a brush and 1/2 in with a sponge to see how well it blends with the 2 different methods. Personally, I prefer blending with a brush, something I've always preferred. Well, to be fair, I haven't always preferred it, but for the last couple of years I have. I was originally a sponge girl, but when I started actually experimenting with makeup properly and started actually trying and like learning techniques that worked for me, then I definitely moved to a brush and I was like, this actually works. So this side's going to be sponge, this side's going to be brush. Going in with the sponge first, I'm going to start to tap this in. I do find that if you're using a sponge for foundation, then it doesn't seem to be anywhere near as good coverage. It kind of shears it out than using a brush. But we're going to see how it works with this one. This shade I really like. That's doing an alright job, to be fair, at blending it out. I do feel like it is a bit lighter coverage, but I don't know if that is the sponge that's doing it, not my beauty blender, or if it's just because it's a medium coverage foundation, to be fair. So I'm going to just do that. To be fair, that has actually blended in really easily. So I've just grabbed my brush and I'm using the Flat Top HT Kabuki brush by Nia, and we're going to see how it goes. Oh, it's actually blending alright. I was kind of worried because I had to go off and find a brush and we've done this side first, that it might have kind of like dried to my skin. It might not be as easy to blend, but it's still working with us. That's what I found with some foundations, like the Maybelline 30-hour foundation. I thought it was an alright foundation in itself, but the actual blending, like if you left it on your skin for more than like 10 seconds before blending it, it just dried straight to your skin and it would not blend at all. So I'm just going to keep blending this. It does look very dark on my skin. Until I start to blend it out, it does start to look a bit lighter, which is good. But so far, I actually like it. I feel like it's probably the best shade I could have gone for from their shade range, because the one lighter than this was just too light and it just had an undertone that wouldn't have matched my skin at all. Obviously too dark. We don't want to go any darker than this. But I'm pretty happy with that. Colour I'm pretty happy with. The actual look of it on my skin right now, I quite like it. Personally, I do prefer a heavier foundation. Like, I've always preferred a more full coverage foundation, and that's more on the basis of, I feel like I've got a blank canvas then. I can start from the beginning and just put whatever I want on. So that's why I do like that. But obviously, I do like a good skin tint as well. Would I class it as a skin tint? I don't know, because it is more medium coverage. So on the website it says medium coverage, but then on the package it says skin tint. So I wouldn't say a skin tint is medium coverage. I would personally say a skin tint is more of like a tinted moisturiser, so it's more light coverage. So I do think it's a bit of a weird one with that. But first impressions, I like it as a first impressions. It's not giving my skin any kind of like weird texture. It does look quite nice and smooth. It's blending in really, really easily. Like I said, you can still see like blemishes and things on my skin, but that is fine. We can use concealer for those anyway. But yeah, first impressions, well, I'm liking it so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some more makeup on top of this, the usual makeup that I'd use, see how it blends in together, see how it looks, and we can give our overall opinion. So my favourite concealer is the e.l.f. one, but recently I've been using the MUA one and I really like it. I tried it in a first impressions video not that long ago, and I love it. So this is the MUA Pro Base one. It's going to get a little bit under my eyes and then lift it up. So this is going to really help to brighten up my eye area, hopefully. You see what I mean? How dark that foundation looked. And now we actually see it on my skin, like it matches my neck. It just looks really nice. I love the shade. I'm going to put a little bit more down the centre of my nose, some on my chin, and just a little bit on my forehead there. Okay. Gonna leave it at that for the brightening areas. I'm just gonna apply a little bit to my blemishes. My skin's been breaking out quite a lot recently, which is really frustrating. But it is what it is. It means we can try out more products, try some more skincare products that I've not had a chance to try before, things like that. Just taking my beauty blender, and we're gonna start to blend this in and see how well it blends into that foundation. Because sometimes I find a foundation that I really, really like, but then products that I usually use and usually like just do not blend into it, so they just don't go well together. So that's a big test for me. Let's see how it works under the eyes. Do you know what? That's blended alright. Let's keep going. I feel like that nose looks really nice. I love the way that that has highlighted the nose with a deeper foundation. And then the lightness from the concealer. I'm not sure about my under eyes. I felt they could be better. But if I'm completely honest, I don't think the foundation has picked up on any of my dry patches in my skin, which is a really, really good sign. A lot of foundations have been picking up on like these different dry patches, so that's really, really good. Do a little bit more there. Okay, let's move on to my actual face bits, so my contour, my blush and my highlight. And I'm going to use the Beauty Bay face palette for this. I just had to break off to swap my camera battery, so if the lighting angle or anything has changed, that is why, but we're going to carry on. So going in with my Beauty Bay face palette now. I absolutely love this. This is what it looks like. You can get the deeper one or the lighter one. This is the lighter one and I'm obsessed. So I'm going in with the bronzer. This one or the Revolution Mega Bronzer in the shade Warm are my two favourites to go for. This one I'm going to use today. So far, I am very impressed. I do really like it. Oh wow, so the products do seem to be blending well in with it so far, but we're going to see how it goes. A little bit on my forehead. I recently tried the new Maybelline foundation. It's the Superstay like 30-hour powder hybrid foundation, and I just wasn't a big fan. It gave my skin a texture that just wasn't right, and it just didn't look nice. It made me look quite old and cakey, and it just wasn't for me. Some people have said how much they love it, and there's so many ads out there with amazing reviews, but personally I wasn't a fan. But comparing that to this one, like, there is such big differences. This one's so much nicer. Personally, I wouldn't say I'd choose this one over my IRL one by Revolution, but that is because that is just a perfect foundation for me. The consistency, the balance of like oils in it, the texture, the actual formula of it, the coverage of it is all perfect for me. But as an actual foundation so far, I do really like it and I would buy it again. So I'm going to go in with blush now, and again I'm just going to use the Beauty Bay Face palette just because it's easy and it's such a nice palette. I'm going to use the shade Rosebud because I normally go for this one, which is a corally shade called Peach. It's more of a peachy shade, but I'm going to go with the Rosebud shade today because they're both gorgeous. This one's just a little bit more intense, but you hardly need any product at all to make it look really nice. So my under eyes are starting to crease a little bit, but I think part of that is just to do with how puffy they are today. I don't think it's to do with the actual products we've used, if I'm honest. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to go with some highlight, just a little bit of highlight to give me some shimmer. So I'm going in with the highlight from this palette again, which is called Precious, and it's so beautiful. In the pan, it looks very sparkly, like it's going to be glittery. But on the skin, it really doesn't give that effect at all. It's got a beautiful, natural shine that's just so stunning. And it blends out like a dream. I feel like I'm doing a review for this palette instead. Okay, just add a little bit to my nose. I don't really want to add any to my lip line today, I don't think either. So this is how it's looking. I'm going to grab a sponge and just powder my under eyes because they are creasing. If I can show you a bit that they are creasing quite a bit under there. So I'm going to powder my under eyes and then I'm going to come back. So I've done my under eyes and now this is how it is looking. Honestly, I really like this foundation. Do I think it's worth the money? I'd say yes, because to be fair, $9.99 is pretty average, if not a little bit affordable. I'm so sorry, that's my stomach if you can hear that. $9.99 is pretty affordable for a foundation. Like, it's pretty average price. Nowadays, when you go into like Superdrug, got the drugstore foundations, so like $11.99 up to like $12, $13.99, so they can get more expensive. I just saw one the other day that I wanted to try, and it was £21 and it was still a drugstore foundation, and that to me isn't drugstore prices. $9.99 I think is a good price for a foundation. Like I said, you do get a decent amount in there, but I'm actually really surprised with how nice it's made my skin look. I feel like it does look a lot more matte. Yeah, I really, really like it. It's blended beautifully in with the other shades. The shade match was actually pretty perfect. I feel like I couldn't have got that any better. At first, I was a bit skeptical. It did look a little bit questionable at first, but it blended out beautifully. Blending it in with a brush versus a sponge. The brush, I do think I did a better job. However, I was actually quite surprised with the sponge because I don't like blending foundations in with a sponge. But it did do an okay job. It did sheer it out a little bit more, but that is to be expected. I would say that it works well either way of applying the product. So yeah, I do think that's really, really good. Overall, positives, absolutely gorgeous. Blended in really, really nicely. Other products blended beautifully into it. When I look at my skin up close, I don't feel like there's any added texture. I felt the coverage around this area for me isn't enough, but that's more because my skin is more breaking out on here. When you look at it in camera, it doesn't look too bad. As I start to zoom you in, you can start to see the blemishing and like scarring there. You can see like my other blemishes here, around here, so you can see them. You can see when my skin started to break out more. You can like see the areas here where it's breaking out and like little blemishes and stuff, so you can see that. So coverage isn't the best. Around my nose area, it's actually done really, really well. Like I said, my under eyes aren't great, but that's not down to the product, that's just me right now. Around here, you cannot see any of that dryness. Recently with foundations, you would see like patches on my skin with the dryness, and you can't see any of that. So I would say that the product is good for dry skin. It's also good for oily skin because I've got oily and dry, so I've got quite combination skin. So I would say it's good for both. When it comes down to sensitive skin, I do have very, very sensitive skin. So I feel like it has responded well with my skin. I've not had any sort of reaction or anything. Cream products, powder products have all blended in beautifully. Yeah, I'm really impressed. If I had to rate this out of 10, I'd probably say it's like a 7 or 8, something like that. It's not the best foundation I've ever used, but I would 100% buy it again. It is really nice. It does what it says on the packet. So if you are wanting a skin tint with medium coverage that's quite nice, it feels quite silky, quite nice and liquidy, quite silky, and it just feels nice on your skin, it blends in beautifully, then 100% go for it. That is something for you. If you are looking for heavier coverage, maybe build it up a little bit, because that will hopefully help a little bit more. But yeah, overall, I'm very impressed. So that is it. That is my full review on the new Bear With Me Blur NYX foundation. I do really, really like it. I think it's really nice. I love the packaging. I think it's really nice and compact. But yeah, I would buy this again. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, leave me a lovely little comment to read later on, and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. But that's it from me for today, and I really hope that I get to see you all next time. Bye!